Hello everyone and welcome to our weather update on a very blustery, gusty 4th of October 2025. So you can see up here, that is Storm Amy. Really has made its presence felt over Ireland and the UK, especially in more western northern areas over the past day, and it will keep doing so today, especially in Scotland. Northern Scotland still having an amber warning in force today till 9 p.m, so definitely some very severe gusts still to be coming. The week overall started benign before it gradually became more and more unsettled and culminating with Storm Amy. In fact, in Ireland, County Donegal got issued a red warning yesterday afternoon, quite last minute, issued at about 1:30, and it was valid between 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. So some very widespread gusty winds there, severe gusty winds, damaging gusts, all of that stuff has been going on. Widespread power outages, again, over the whole of the country, but more focused especially on Ireland and Scotland and Northern England as well. So yes, very severe weather has occurred. But the trend now will be towards drier, calmer, settled conditions, like basically the foil of what we've seen through yesterday and today. Yes, and the culprit for that's not the culprit. The cause for that even is the Azores High, and that will be ridging towards us as we head into next week. Going forward into the UKV high-res pre-storm cloud forecast, we can see that this morning we have heavy rain that is still stranded in parts of Northern Ireland, Northern England, and that is currently very evident on the radar. Some thundery downpours also in parts of Kerry and Cork this morning. Some big, lively downpours there. Now, as we go through today, this area of rain will fragment and push southeastwards over the country, bringing some patchy rain and gusty winds. Behind that, we'll see a whole host of showers following with gusty northwesterly winds. And Northern Scotland again sees the tail end of Storm Amy, that occlusion there, bringing more rain and very gusty, damaging winds still to come. Obviously, that area especially has been exposed to these winds for quite a while now. So that has allowed ample time for structures and trees to weaken. And that means today, with these continued gusty winds, damaging winds, so on, it's more likely that these will, become submissive to these winds and give in, creating more damage and destruction through Saturday. Into Sunday, we can see it gets drier, calmer, but cloudier as we see a whole blanket of cloud coming from the west. That is as a warm front does come through into the evening. But really on Sunday, we're only seeing patchy light rain. This mainly in Northern England, Northern Ireland and Scotland. Into Sunday night and Monday morning, a warm front moves through towards Scotland, Northern England. In more southern areas like Ireland, England, Wales, it stays quite dry. And Monday itself, really, it's southwesterly winds, long fetched southwesterly winds. That brings a lot of moisture onto the west coast of Scotland, but elsewhere, to be honest with you, quite decent. Cloud, some sunshine, hazy at times, but quite warm because of that southwesterly winds. Into Tuesday, we see a cold front starting to shift southeastwards over the country, and this is so only very gradually. So really, if you wake up on Tuesday with the rain, it's likely that you will end Tuesday with the rain. But thankfully, this rainfall doesn't look overly heavy. Just going to be quite a grim day, really, on Tuesday. And as we go through into Wednesday and Thursday, some weak fronts still hanging around the country, draped around. But in general, we're seeing a trend to high pressure through next week. Now, regards to temperatures, we can see that after a mild week this week, to start the month, we're seeing a cool down now. That is as Storm Amy clears away. Hence, there we go. Yeah, so Amy is now towards Shetland and Norway, and bringing in this colder polar maritime air mass from northwest, winds coming from Iceland, today feeling much cooler than it did yesterday, for example. So today's highest temperature is only, at best, in some areas reaching 14 degrees. That is on the south coast of England. Elsewhere, more like, in general, 10 to 13. And if you're stuck under any showers and rain, like this swathe of the UK there, in northern England, North Wales, temperatures struggling to get above 10 degrees in Scotland, and especially for high ground, temperatures will stay suppressed in single figures. That, combined with these very strong winds, will make it feel positively bitter. Very, very raw. Not that you would go out today if you're up there because of that amber warning. So, all the reasons to stay inside today in Scotland. Further on into tonight, we can see quite chilly in some areas, especially in Scotland, but overall, westerly winds will prevail, hence temperatures shouldn't fall too low at all. Widely about, say, like 7 to 10 degrees as a low tonight. We have had some much colder nights through late September. Into tomorrow, Sunday, a bit milder, a bit warmer. Winds are less strong, more sunshine, especially in the south, and that will lead to temperatures getting towards the mid-teens in those regions. But again, further north, like Scotland, northern England, especially for high ground, temperatures about 10 to 12. Going into Monday, we start Monday morning very mild, and we end up on Monday afternoon. Look at those temperatures that in Ireland between about 15 and 16 Celsius. Scotland, northern England, low teens, but eastern Scotland and parts of Midlands and eastern England there see temperatures to the high teens. And yes, that is quite reasonable in parts of England, but Scotland, that might look out of place, and that's because of the phone effect. So we got these moisture-laden, quite warm southwesterly winds coming in. They go up through, they rise to the mountains, they dry up, and they actually warm as they descend on the lee side of the mountains. So that leads to these warmer temperatures, say in parts of Aberdeenshire, Moray Firth, those sort of regions, on the lee side of the mountains with those southwesterly winds on Monday. Going to Tuesday, we can see getting quite a mild start. Tuesday afternoon, behind the cold front, so say for parts of Northern Ireland and Scotland, temperatures will be lowering back towards 10 degrees. But elsewhere, again, mid to possibly high teens on Tuesday, but not as warm as Monday. Wednesday, starting off mild, where we see that clouds and patchy rain lingering, but cold both north and south of that front. Wednesday itself, Ireland, Scotland, Northern England, low to mid-teens. England, Wales, maybe higher teens there. And going to Thursday, high pressure does start to move in, and the cold front does sink southwards gradually. So we see Ireland, Scotland, Northern England, lowest temperatures like well below 10 degrees. Some areas down to 4 or 5. And for England, Wales, you're still looking at temperatures of 14 degrees possibly as a low on Wednesday night. But I think cooler air will take over through next week as the cold front does gradually push its way through. Now looking at the ensemble graph, this is for sea level pressure for Dublin, the GFS. You can see we're currently very, very low with the pressure, hence all the stormy weather. But as we go into next week here, pressure really does lift, peaking around next Saturday, I think, the 11th, yeah, and then possibly just easing off towards mid-month, but that's a long way off. But what I'm showing you is that all ensemble members are agreeing that we're seeing a rise in pressure imminently, pretty much. Right after Amy clears away, things will be getting much calmer. So let's look at all of that in detail with the mid to longer range models here. So starting off with our GFS midnight run, you can see there's that storm Amy looking very vicious. And I have a classmate called Amy actually, and let's just say yesterday I had a great time making the absolute Mickey out of her. But she enjoyed it, so it's no harm there. Basically, she's being blamed for this mess. Into the rest of today, the storm does move away, and we're seeing a more northwesterly airflow moving in, hence the cool down. Into tomorrow, though, you can see the Azores light is making a move, is reaching towards us, and bringing a dry day tomorrow. Still a bit breezy, but not nearly as severe as it's been today and yesterday. And into next week, you can see Monday, high pressure over France, low pressure pushed away towards Iceland, Greenland, jet stream all the way up towards the Faroe Islands, and this brings in a very warm southwesterly winds, so especially warm for more eastern areas on the east side of high grounds. And then into next week, again, a high pressure is a bit more involved, but it's taking a while to ridge in. But by next Thursday, Friday, it does become essentially the cases, and that brings hopefully clear skies and light winds. And if that is the case, by night quite cold possibly, but by day, given that we're still over 2 months before solstice, I believe temperatures could reach the mid-teens in many areas. So quite a pleasant spell here with the GFS run. And beyond this, into mid-month, blocking does form actually. It's a high, it does ridge towards Greenland and out into Svalbard as well. Trough of low pressure towards Scandinavia. This attempts to bring in a cooler push of northerly winds. A bit cooler, but still quite dry and settled there as we go into mid-month. And let's see, we end up beyond mid-month on the 20th with a big blocking high towards Greenland and a very big ridge extending all the way from Siberia out into Kazakhstan, I believe, Western Russia, down into Europe and into the Med. A big low, a big trough in between. This will bring plenty of rain, winds, and if that pattern sticks around, we'd be in for a deluge. And this can happen because the jet stream is very amplified. You can see here. If we turn on the upper level winds, there they are. So big dive there towards the Azores, then big. Then this arm of the jet stream does go back up towards Scandinavia. In the middle, we got trough of low pressure, and these can be quite hard to shift. Can take a few days to a week. So this would bring constant rain, pretty much. Big areas of rain. Turn that on. Yeah, plenty of rain for all. Here is the ECM. The ECM once again has Storm Amy coming through. By the way, this is yesterday's 12th run. I'm recording it at 7 a.m. Because I have to. And this run there doesn't come out fully till 8 a.m. But by which point I'll have to get ready to go out. Let's see. So beyond that, we go into Sunday, Monday. Very warm in parts of the country. Beyond that, we see westerly winds. High pressure getting gradually more involved in the weather. And by the time we get through Friday, Saturday, we can see it's right over the country, right over Ireland, the UK, and brings in plenty of dry weather. By night, quite chilly, but I think by day, if it's sunny, it will be quite pleasant indeed. So great, pleasant for getting out and about and enjoying the autumnal scenery. Now let's also look at what has come out so far of the midnight run, because they're probably screaming at me to look at this. And you can see if it'll work, it will. Okay, yeah, let's go back to the start. So Amy clears away. Then we go into Monday, Tuesday. Quite warm for a time. Cold front comes through, and high pressure gets more involved. So by this time next week, high pressure right over the country, bringing in some decent autumn weather. UK Met Run. So, all those sceneries with like these woods and the sunshine and all the leaves that have changed colour. I think those could become a reality next weekend, hopefully. Here is the UK Met Run. You can see Stormy is clearing away and weakening very rapidly as it moves towards Scandinavia. In its wake, we see the Azores high ridging in, bringing in this warm push of southwesterly winds. Cold front does threaten to move through by Tuesday, and it does do that. And let's go into the end of next week. Again, the high pressure is ridging in. It takes a while to get there, but by next Saturday, it could be quite a cloudy high if this is correct. You can see all that milky stuff over us. Well, the trend is for high pressure to move in. Devil's in the detail about whether or not it'd be a cloudy or clear high. Ideally, it's a clear high, but the trend we know for sure is that it is drying out. Into the GEM, once again, warm push of winds through Monday, Tuesday. Beyond that, a bit cooler for a time before high pressure does ridge in. Let's see what it shows, what it has to say for cloud by next Saturday. You can see it's very strongly ridging in. GEM going for quite a fair high, so some cloud cover, but also some clear spells with the GEM with this high pressure system. I'd say quite a good chance that it'll be clear, just given how intense the high is and how long it sits over the country as well. So I think it should clear up. Into the mid-month period then, the high just sits to our west, allows more of a northerly airflow to move in, so a bit cooler and cloudier as the wind does come around from the Atlantic Ocean. Icon. So the Icon, once again, going for a cooler day today. Still gusty in many areas, especially in Scotland. Into next week, cold front comes through Wednesday, then high pressure does come in behind it to bring a hopefully quite nice weekend. You can see the high pressure is ridging towards Eastern Europe there. So if we zoom into the UK and Ireland, look at the cloud cover. So some cloud and some clear spells. Quite a fair high temperatures, mid-teens. Overnight a bit cool, but by day mid-teens, so pretty decent, I think. And finally, we have the arpege. It's going for much the same, really. It's also first move on Monday, brings in a push of southwesterly winds, but especially cloudy, damp, murk over western hills, and cold front comes through quite weak on Tuesday, and behind that you can see that the jet stream is pushed northwards and high pressure to the south looks to become more and more influential. Everyone, that is your weather update concluded, I believe, for this Saturday. So you can see, once we get Amy through, we're basically into a much more settled spell of weather. Not becoming totally settled straight away. There will be a phase of transition through like tomorrow up until next Friday. We'll still see some weak fronts coming through at times, but overall much drier, and calmer. Monday possibly hot windy still, but that is nothing compared to what we're seeing now. Enjoy what's left of the weekends. If you're in Scotland, definitely best today to stay in. If you're further south, chance it. And tomorrow should be a better day for all of us in terms of hazards. But clouds will still roll in from the west through the afternoon. And then gradually turning drier and calmer into next week. And hopefully, by next Saturday, we'll be talking about high pressure and autumn walks. Everyone, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon, and bye for now.